friends, today I'm going to show you how to float into headstand. I'm first going to give you a couple tips and pointers on how to come into headstand safely so we can prevent injury. And if you're learning to just now float, that probably means you've been practicing your headstand for a while now. If you haven't started practicing headstand, you can go to my website, fitandflexy.com, and there's a tutorial there on how to start practicing your headstand safely. If you haven't practiced headstand before yet, I want you to practice going up against the wall. So there's a couple different ways we can do this. We can have our hands behind our head in a tripod, or we can have our hands down here as well. So there's two different ways. This way seems to be a little bit more challenging for some people, and this way gives you a little bit more support because your head is locked in between those fingers. Depending on how you want to hold yourself up, I like to have my fingers behind my head because I'm locked and I know it's a little bit more safer on my neck because I have that support. Rather here, I don't have any support in my head and I can rock any which way. If you are not practicing against a wall, I want you to be able to be comfortable enough to fall into your wheel pose. That's our back bend where we fall onto our feet. To come out of this, you can come onto your hands, pressing up, walking those feet down, and slowly coming down onto your back. For the float, I want us to have our fingers interlocked when we first begin. And if you want to practice with the wall behind you, if you feel safer that way, definitely go ahead and do that. So I'm going to come here into my headstand position, and I'm walking my feet up towards my torso as close as I can. I'm not down here where my hips are really far away from my chest. We really want to work on getting those hips stacked on top of the shoulders. See how I'm pretty much into my headstand already? An easy way to come up is bringing that one leg up and then just gently pressing up. You can practice this a couple different times. This is a lot of flexibility here. So you can practice your dolphin pose, which is where we're on our forearms here, and your downward dog where we're on our hands. So that's going to get you that lower back flexibility that you need to come into your float. So when I was first starting to learn my float into headstand, I found it really easy to have one leg back and one knee tucked in because I have a counterbalance. So I have weight in the front and weight in the back, making it easier to stabilize at the top. The closer your hips are stacked over your shoulders, the easier it's going to be. So one knee bent in and one leg straight up. And I found it easier to hold this here. And only go where you're comfortable. Another way to practice our float is coming down really slow with both legs or just one leg at a time. So you're going to find out what works best for you. We're going to come back into that headstand position, coming up as where we can. If you want to try coming down with both legs, you can. Really trying to use that core and stabilize with the shoulders and the head. It's not going to look perfect the first time, but the more you practice, the easier it's going to become, and you're really going to learn to activate those deep core muscles. So we'll go ahead and try with one leg. So coming up, and we can have one leg back maybe, and say we're ready to come out, we can have one foot down and coming down slower. That is going to be a lot easier for you. When you think about coming down slow and really trying to think about not kicking too hard to come up, not using momentum to come up. The more you practice coming down slow, the easier it's going to be to come up slowly into your float. So just practice, 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 and the more you will get it. So don't worry about having it be graceful the first time. There's going to be a lot of falling, and I want you guys to be able to fall safely. So please, if you can, fall into a bridge. If you can't fall into a bridge, I really want you guys to use a wall against your back because that's going to make it a lot safer for you, and it's going to help you build up that strength that you need. So bringing the hands behind the head, we'll walk the feet up, really trying to get those hips stacked. You can just practice rocking back and forth as much as you can, trying to bring that one leg up, and then just gently pressing up. So I'm going to show you some ways not to do your headstand. So coming in, a lot of people tend to kick up, and that's going to throw you off balance. Rather having those hips stacked, really thinking about getting as high up as we can. So coming up, I don't like to see this where the leg is bent up here. That's not going to get you anywhere. Really try to have that leg straight as much as you can. And you can use this leg here as a counterbalance. Once you're up, you can feel free to have those knees bent. I find it a lot easier to balance here because it keeps my core activated. So those are some of my floating tips for headstand. If you guys haven't warmed up and you plan to fall into a bridge, please, please, please warm up your spine. The last thing you want is an injury. And if you're not comfortable doing a headstand, I really want you guys to come up onto a wall using it for safety precaution. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you back here at Fit and Flexi.